Hello everyone, I'm Georgia and this is The Sound of Georgia. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the real reason I think Julie Andrews is just so wonderful. I'm pretty sure Julie Andrews has imposter syndrome. So in case you don't know what imposter syndrome is, I'm just going to be giving you a bit of an overview. And I think once I finish, you will probably agree with me that Julie has it. So, from Wikipedia, it says, imposter syndrome is a psychological pattern in which an individual doubts his or her accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Despite external evidence of their competence, those experiencing this phenomenon remain convinced that they are frauds and do not deserve all that they have achieved. Individuals with imposter syndrome incorrectly attribute their success to luck or a result of deceiving others into thinking they are more intelligent than they perceive themselves to be. Essentially, they don't believe they deserve all the credit they get. And I would say in a lot of cases, particularly with Julie, absolutely do deserve. When I first heard about imposter syndrome, my first thought was, oh my god, this is Julie. And when I found out about it, I also found this little quiz. And because I've watched enough interviews and read enough stuff, I actually took the quiz as I thought Julie might have answered it. It said yes. Unfortunately, now the link to the quiz seems to be broken, but you can probably find another one out there. Anyway, here are three-ish, you'll see what I mean, examples that I think point to Julie absolutely having imposter syndrome. I'll leave links to all the videos I used in the down below, because there's a video for every single example. And plenty of others. If you watch enough interviews with her, you'll know her answers to pretty much everything, because the questions just keep getting repeated. So there's a lot more out there to prove my point other than what I'm going to talk about now, but let's get into that. So our first story starts at the beginning of 2017, just about the time Julie officially got social media. Now, I actually don't have Twitter, but I do follow Julie on Facebook. And she rarely posts, and when she does, it's not about her. And I'm pretty sure Twitter would be the exact same way. And this is important. Julie had just got social media. I imagine was in no small part to the fact that Julie's Green Room had just aired on Netflix. That's the only show I have ever marathoned. I just sat down and watched all 13 episodes of that show in pretty much one sitting and did nothing else that day. It's a great show and I'd like to make a video about it one day, but I'm getting sidetracked. So, not long after Julie got social media, a video came out where our lovely Philippa Sue was on Stephen Colbert. And I'll link the video in the down below, but it's called Philippa Sue Lost Her Cool When Julie Andrews Came to Hamilton. Me too, Pippa. Me too. I totally lost my cool when I met Julie. This was before I even listened to Hamilton. I'd heard about it, but I had no idea it was big as it was, or that she was the leading lady, or anything like that. I clicked because Julie's name was in the title. And she said in the video that Julie was so poised and beautiful and a gift to us all. Less than 24 hours later, Julie tweets this. Now, of course, Julie is absolutely right. Philippa Sue is indeed a gift to us all. In fact, one of the top comments on that Stephen Colbert video says that exact same thing. But my point is, the first thing Julie wanted to do was tell Pippa how amazing she was. Even over and above saying thank you. So, moving on to the next story, we're going back a bit. Just over 20 years back a bit. In 1995, Julie was nominated for a Tony for her performance in Victor Victoria, the stage adaptation of her 1982 film that she made with her husband, who also directed the stage version. But she declined the nomination, because she was the only person in the company to be nominated. She knew everybody in the company deserved some sort of credit, and she didn't want to be the only one receiving any. Once again, I think she's absolutely right. Having seen the stage production, or the filmed version of the stage production at least, it came out the year I was born. It is a really good show, and she is definitely not the only person who deserves credit. I'll leave a link to the video of her declining the nomination down below. How much it all had to do with Blake being the director, I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever know. Probably not all that much, I think. That is the way Julie works. She would want everybody to get credit, not just her husband. She didn't have any Tonys at that point, and she still doesn't now. She was nominated for both My Fair Lady and Camelot, but she didn't win. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks she would be an EGOT if she hadn't turned the nomination down, but that's what Julie does. She wants everyone else to know how wonderful they are, more than she wants them to know how wonderful she is. And now the final story is really a two-part story, which is why I said ish at the beginning. And it concerns her two biggest roles ever. That being Mary Poppins and Maria from The Sound of Music. As I'm sure you know, in the past few years, and especially very recently, more movies regarding these two subjects have come up. Musical versions of Mary Poppins or Sound of Music are one thing, but then they decided to do the live versions, and then they decided to make the Mary Poppins sequel, or reboot. Julie was asked very, very early on in the production of Mary Poppins Returns whether she wanted to be in the film, and her response from the very beginning was a resounding no, because she said it was Emily's movie. It was Emily's turn to play the role, and she didn't want to steal the spotlight, basically. She said, it's 50 years since that came out, so I think it's time. And she said much the same thing regarding NBC's Sound of Music Live in 2013. It's been long enough since those movies that somebody else deserves a chance. She also said Carrie's performance was great. I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that's debatable, but Carrie was definitely better than I initially thought she would be. She still wasn't anything great though. Sorry. When she was very young, Julie's mother said something along these lines to her. I can't remember it verbatim, but it was, remember, there's someone out there who can do what you do and probably better, so don't get a big head. And she never did, and I think it shows. With all this said though, Julie doesn't outright discount her successes. She once said, I would be a fool to deny my own abilities. So she definitely realizes she's talented. But she's also said time and time again that she was very, very lucky to be surrounded by those people like Walt Disney or Rodgers and Hammerstein or Lerner and Loewe, and being given the opportunity to do those performances and play those roles. It's like she knows she deserves all the credit but doesn't want to deserve it, and therefore she deflects it every time we try to give it to her. And so many people are on her side when it comes to things like turning down the Tony or the offer to be in Mary Poppins Returns. And I'm one of those people. We all love her for that. I cannot deny that a very, very, very small part of me is the tiniest bit bummed about all of this, because she absolutely does deserve all of this credit and praise. But a much bigger part of me only loves her and admires her all the more for it. And that, I think, is the big reason Julie is as practically perfect in every way as she is. Let me know in the comments what you think, and if there are any other examples that you think should be on this list. Any other moments that point to her probably having imposter syndrome. That's everything I've got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my video next week. So long, farewell!